We doing this for the soldiers in the street, yo. Niggas always wonder, yo. Niggas feel good because they free from slavery. Salute whoever sit back and wonder why we were slaves, dog. You ever wonder why we been treated the way we been treated, dog?
We the 666, we the carbon copy of the God spirit. That means who we are is infinite. Hieroglyphics drawn on the walls of Hemmitt. Listen to Bobby Hemmitt. Yeah, we the 666, we the carbon copy of the God spirit. That means who we are is infinite. Hieroglyphics drawn on the walls of Hemmitt. Listen to Bobby Hemmitt.
Born in the image of God, trapped in the physical. It's real critical that I map out my spiritual path that I must walk on to get back my shine, get back my time, resurrect my spine. I'm trying to do things that's nothing less than divine. I'm trying to move things with the strength of my mind. The universe is mental in the mind of the all. Study straight out the Kabbalah or Tahudi's law. I chose metaphysics as my new form of religion. Mental calisthenics got my head back in position. Now I'm ready to take back my will instead of trying to chill. Connected with the gods of Bill. 5% of Islam, they on their Ramadan. Gotta reach these niggas that stuck in the time of time. We teach elevation above and beyond. No hesitation to expand your lungs.
So we the 666. We the carbon copy of the God spirit. That means who we are is infinite. Hieroglyphics drawn on the walls of Hemmitt. Listen to Bobby Hemmitt. Yeah, we the 666. We the carbon copy of the God spirit. That means who we are is infinite. Hieroglyphics drawn on the walls of Hemmitt. Listen to Bobby Hemmitt.
If I sang a song for you, would you understand? Will you see the world like I do? Would you comprehend? Dreams a spiritual mystery. Use your gifts to see, and you'll be free.
You'll be free.
Do you know? Yeah, what we control. Yeah, this world is yours.
It's yours. It's yours.
What we control. This world is yours.
It's yours.
This world is yours.
I have many dreams of heaven in these dark days. I prophesize and tell them come, but they all stay. They rather throw their lives away in city hallways. Hood projects where they project lack of respect. Cause who I am be part of the last straw. The hood need more hood past stars to pass laws for y'all. I ball like a cat moving big things. Wanna move your body through your mind if you're listening. Back up this knowledge and sell it like Pip King. Roll them into peace, go inside and shift things. Tap into your soul so you can see the schematic so you can tune in. We ruin, cause look what our people out here doing. Lost in the source of course, but I was here before. Blind by the light no more, I come for y'all. Deaf, dumb, and blind, third eye must be neutralized. Taking only positive, not negative vibes. Let the mirror be the first on your journey. Heard me, dark space meaning you're worthy. So get free. Get free. Get free. Yeah, we the 666. We the carbon copy of the God spirit. That means who we are is infinite. Hieroglyphics drawn on the walls of Hemmitt. Listen to Bobby Hemmitt. Yeah, we the 666. We the carbon copy of the God spirit. That means who we are is infinite. Hieroglyphics drawn on the walls of Hemmitt. Listen to Bobby Hemmitt.
Okay, welcome family to the Ringing Stone Network. We'll be your host tonight, Brother Kasim. And tonight we're going to honor a brother who has 29
Brother Kasim.
Brother Kasim.
Yes.
You got to get close to your mic. You got to get close to your mic. You sound like you're in a big tunnel. Better, way better.
Also, you know, he's known not only in America, but he is known in Europe as well, and probably other places. Brother Bobby Hemmitt. Brother Bobby Hemmitt is still with us. And
closer.
Because we don't just want to wait till someone passes on or transitions for us to honor him. So we're doing this tonight. So this is a special night tonight. Night of what they call the accessing the ancestors. Some call it Samhain, some call it All Saints Day, or El Dia de los Muertos, which is the Day of the Dead. And Bobby, what he did is he always honored the ancestors. He always honored the deity. So, you know, because of this, we chose to honor him, you know, on this particular night. Some of the history, you know, about Hemmitt, for those who may not be aware, Bobby is from South Carolina originally, and Bobby was from a family, a well-educated family.
Brother Kasim.
College.
Brother Kasim. Brother Kasim.
Yes.
Are you on the speakerphone?
Yes, I'm on the speakerphone.
You sound distant.
I'm too distant? Okay.
Right there you sound perfect, but when you go back to the building, you sound like you're in a tunnel. And I apologize,
right.
So we can't really understand you.
Okay, family, I'm back. Okay, that sounds better. That's like
good.
That? Okay,
Way
apologize for that, family. Yeah, apologize for that. Anyway, you know, we're here now tonight, and what we're going to do is we are going to indeed honor the brother Bobby. Bobby, I've known Bobby from back in 93. Back in 93, you know, I had a information network out in Brooklyn, New York. And back there in Brooklyn, New York, Bobby, you know, he started in a place called Slave Theater. And at the Slave Theater, he indeed was a brother who was part of the underground information network, like Dr. Blair, Reverend Valentine, Dr. Ben, James Smalls, Dr. Jewell, Ashwar Kwesi, Steve Coakley, all of them. And what he did, you know, Bobby went to a school, Benedict, and he learned. He was from a well-educated family down, as I mentioned. And Bobby did not decide to continue to go that route. He wanted to enlighten the people. And this is what I give Bobby Hemmitt so much respect, you know, for doing, you know, in his life, you know, and spent 25 years of teaching, you know, the black masses about spirituality, you know. And, you know, Bobby was a unique teacher, you know, in his own way. He didn't hold his tongue. Bobby didn't, he was him. He was himself. He expressed himself in ways that other teachers didn't do, you know, and that made him stand out. Bobby did more lectures, okay, I think, than anybody that I know. And when Bobby lectured for like hours, 4 hours at a time, 2-3 lectures a month. Bobby's YouTube videos can be seen now, okay. He's got, I don't know how many YouTube videos out now that you can still see that are archived. And a lot of these knowledge is still, you know, stood the test of time, you know, and I'm glad that, you know, the brother, you know, continued on. Bobby he fell ill, and he's still with us. He fell ill back, I think it was 2013 and 2014. Okay, and ever since then, he has not been teaching. And, you know, of course, you know, we all wish him well. Hopefully, you know, tonight, you know, someone would maybe come forth with some information in reference to Bobby, in reference to, you know, his, you know, overall, you know, condition, because knowledge of, you know, his condition Nobody seems to know exactly what his condition is, at this time. So tonight, callers, don't feel away. Call in and, call in. And when you call in, give your maybe experiences with Bobby's teachings, give your experiences with the knowledge, that he's given, because he's given so much, over the years to us. And, we at the network tonight, we want to, honor him in that way. So often, as mentioned before, we wait till our greats are gone in order to honor them. When the example with me personally, when Prince passed on, I didn't know so much about him till after he passed on. So we don't, want to, definitely continue this trend. We want to, honor our greats, once they're alive, and not wait until they have passed on for us to honor them. So tonight I'm going to, indeed let people know beforehand that there's going to be some explicit lyrics in the content, because this is the way Bobby spoke. It's not outright profanity, but, there were some words that, may not be suitable for young ones. So this little disclaimer, a little something that you might, want to know, when listening to the rest of the show. We have some clips or excerpts from, some of Bobby's lectures, on hand, to listen to. And, in between those excerpts, what we're going to do is we're going to take some calls, and also we are going to build, in the meantime as well, because, definitely, there's a lot of knowledge to add on to what, he's already, put forth. And I just want to say that, what Bobby really actually wanted as well is to not teach forever as well, because he was a master teacher. True masters make masters. So therefore, it's a thing where him being gone, he left it up to us to pick up the mantle and continue, his legacy. So, with all that said, I just want to say that the number to call in, if you want to call in and give your experience, or if you just want to shout out, to, if you just want to shout out, 515-605-9354 is the call-in number that you can call in and press the 1, and that'll put you in the queue, and you can, speak your piece and, speak in reference to anything having to do with Bobby Hemmitt. I just ask, that callers keep it short and brief, if possible. By the way, the song that was on, the Bobby Hemmitt, that was from a group named Sutek. Okay, in case anybody want to look that up and see what that, rap record was. But anyway, all right, we're going to open up the lines and see if anybody wants to say anything, rest of Bobby. That's what tonight is all about. This is not a night, anybody can be lecturing or anything like that. This is a night of dedication and honoring, on this, powerful night, the night of the ancestors, because Bobby Hemmitt taught a lot about the ancestors, so we found it suitable to do a Bobby Hemmitt honoring on this night, which is, the El Dios Los Muertos, or All Saints Day, or Ancestors Day, whatever you want to call it, but the veils become thin at this time of year, around Halloween time. The overall power, of this time, is here. And tonight, hopefully everyone, will, remember, their ancestors, dearly as well. But anyway, if there are no callers on the line, Siku, you can put on the first Bobby Hemmitt clip so we can, hear, some Bobby, and then, after that, we'll speak on some of what he has to say.
But on another aspect, these golden apples is the pineapple. The pineapple has some stuff called bromelain. And what this stuff does is, it is essential to our DNA. Watch out here. Okay, you got it. It's essential to our DNA that you start eating the pineapple. Because there's something that's in the pineapple that what it does is it neutralizes something that retards the process of something in the blood system. So in so many words, it purifies. So you get the pineapple, but also you got to get, if you can't get a good pineapple based on the season, get you some Dole pineapple juice with the one in the can. It says not from concentrate. There's one in the carton that's got high fructose corn syrup. But you want the one in the can that's not from concentrate and has no sugar in it. It's sweet enough because pineapples are naturally sweet. But the bromelain in it and stuff is key because that lines up the DNA. That lines up the DNA. Now, another thing that lines up the DNA is the Sri Yantra. Apparently, this goddess, the Sri Yantra, I showed that. This goddess is sitting on top of this man is a goddess called Lolita. And Lolita is a sexual aspect of Kali Durga in India. And Lolita is the East Indian form of Sekhmet. And one of Lolita's symbols, as well as Lakshmi, is called the Sri Yantra. And this Sri Yantra lines up the DNA. These are these I have here for $5. The Sri Yantra. And what you do is you take these, this is a color one, but it doesn't matter because it's not necessarily the colors. It does. It's the design, especially this one down here that doesn't have any color at all. It's the design or the outlay or the layout of this ultimate feminine yantra, which is a thing you meditate on this by. Meditating on it means you study it and study its design, and then when you close your eyes, you focus on it, and it lines up the DNA. It lines up the DNA. So these are very vital in the coming future. This is the Sri Yantra. And it lines up the DNA. You see. So, this is another way, and this is coming from this particular goddess, Lolita, which is a god, a form of Sekhmet. This is just the East Indian form of this particular goddess. But this Sri Yantra lines up the DNA. Like I said.
Okay. Seeker, was that first segment?
Yeah, that's it. And family, if you have any comments you want to do or contribute, press 1 so I can see your number.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, bro. What were you going to say?
It's just, I'm just saying if they want to comment, then press 1. You know, like that, because I can see their number, but they have to press 1.
Right, okay. All right, if there are no callers, I'll build on that a little bit. I remember that clip, Sekou, basically, and Bobby was speaking about the Sri Yantra, which is a sacred geometric pattern. With the Sri Yantra, you look at it, and what it does is it lines up your DNA, and what it is it corresponds with your subconscious mind. That's what geometric patterns do. It corresponds with your subconscious mind. Bobby taught this teaching a lot, dealing with the imagery and, subconscious mind power and stuff like that. Bobby taught a lot dealing with the, I guess you can say, spiritual technologies, and this is what a lot of teachers I feel lack in reference to teachings, you know what I'm saying? And, because of the fact that it's about how, to do. It's about how to get the job done, not sensationalism, not speaking about what's going on with the Clintons and all the political things going on, but it's about building self. And this is what the master teacher Bobby Hemmitt taught, over the years, things of that nature. And the most people who know about Bobby teachings and still practice, some of what he taught, definitely know that. Hopefully the callers are on tonight that are familiar, with a lot of those spiritual technologies what Bobby taught, and will come call in and speak about some of those, because now more than ever we need to have a lot of those spiritual technologies in order for us to get through a lot of the stuff that we need to get through at this time. Indeed. So, okay, Seco, any callers? If no callers, put on another segment.
That's very key. So now you want to do the pineapple, and you want to focus on the Sri Yantra. Now, several other things that raise the Kundalini. It says, number one, total concentration and absorption of the mind source, brought on by intense study and research and absolute devotion. Now, in some lands, it works. If you ever drink alcohol and then you got hot all of a sudden, that's the Kundalini rising because of the alcohol. So you might want to get down with a little bit of sauce. You see what I'm saying? You might want to get a little dip every now and then, a little hot tonic. You see what I'm saying? You're going to find out with most things, see, religion comes in when the mystery schools around the world break down. Then what happens after they're destroyed, the splinters of that and what is left behind is usually religion. So basically, mostly what religion tells you not to do, you're supposed to be doing. Right. Because religion is the societies that want to control people after the mysteries have dissolved, and they put together a lot of codes and laws and stuff like that to control the people. You see what I'm saying? Based on the social the destruction of the social decay of the society. It might not necessarily be bad for the people who need it at that time, but right now you don't need any kind of social type of moral code. What you need right now is the straight up juice, because you got no way with being Mr. Goody Two Shoes any damn way. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, there we have it. Bobby was basically, it explained itself, but overall, Bobby, in that segment, definitely went into, he mentioned moral codes and things of that nature. And, the construct of religion and things like that, which he expressed over and over again, hindered us, in many ways, shapes, and forms from the knowledge in which we really needed to get, because of the fact that a lot of things, whether it's in the Bible, whether it's in the Quran, or whatever it may be, are we should do the opposite in some cases, really keep us away. A lot of those things keep us away from our true spiritual development, and such as, you want to talk about doing or something, dealing with magic, dealing with crystals, dealing with anything that the religious construct spooks out. A lot of times it's things that really we should be gravitating toward and not being afraid of. Bobby taught a lot in reference to those things in which they made us afraid of, all the time, but we should be, going toward. But, that was purposely done to keep us locked down spiritually, and overall our power, would lie in some of those occult sciences, as you can say. The occult sciences of course, occult, the word occult means hidden. So therefore, that knowledge was hidden, from us, which would release us, and put us, in a whole new vibration. Too often now, they are using different sciences dealing with numerology, dealing with ritual, dealing with all sorts of things in which keep them in power. While, we are afraid, to do of these things. This holiday right here of Dias Los Muertos is part of that, the Day of the Dead, because most of us were celebrating Halloween, and we should be honoring our ancestors, something that, Bobby would teach. And this is indeed the time to do that, but it's a thing where it says even biblically, you want to look at it, honor your mothers and fathers so your days may be long. So there is indeed a power in that, in ancestral, because if you look at Mexico, that's the biggest holiday. It's bigger than Christmas, and it's going on right now as I'm speaking. The biggest holiday, who knows about that? I mean, I don't really know. They're in the graveyards, they're lighting candles, and they are honoring their ancestors, and they're taking out time and effort to do that, whether they're putting stuff on the tombstones, they're setting up their altars with fruit and vegetables and candles and all sorts of things. So we need to, overall, what was said in that last segment is basically to take a second look at what they deem as being, negative. And a lot of times also, Bobby said that, we want to be so morally correct about everything. And that can be a disadvantage, as well. The question of what is morality, really? Of course, it depends on whose eyes you're looking at morality from, from that aspect. But anyway, we're going to continue if there are no callers.
Also, too, if you deny your soul certain things, you see what I'm saying? Your soul might say, you need to sleep with that motherfucker. It ain't got nothing to do with no social order or nothing. You just need to get busy with that person. Now, the reason why we know that, if you study Yoruba, they talk of tales like that, and in certain West African things where they come a thing, they say this person got a certain energy you need, and it got nothing to do with your social things. You need to get with that person because your soul is trying to connect to a certain spirit. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So what you're doing, you're expanding the level of your mind. You see what I'm saying? On that particular level. But one of the keys here is sometimes good food, good music. You see what I'm saying? And forms of laughter that's not misplaced. You see what I'm saying? All of that type of stuff. You see, good art. Why do you think we showed those particular pictures and those archetypes? Why did something resonate? Something, when I first saw the Egyptian pictures, something resonated in my soul. You see what I'm saying? Good art. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes it's good to get a porno. Hell yeah. Well, you taking it all. First thing is you got to deal with the fantasy level. That's good, it's even better sometimes when you get a porno and you got a sister there, you can really do the whole role playing thing. Sometimes it's just to get a porno. And sometimes just to get a porno and don't even beat off to it. Don't choke the chicken. You see what I'm saying? Don't jack the 5 live. Don't jack the 5 live.
Jack the 5.
But you get into the erotic realm. You see what I'm saying? You ever got so horny till you thought you was going crazy? Because you didn't get the release. And you be like, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do. You see what I'm saying? That's another realm and another spirit that takes over. This is all in these erotic mystics and stuff. But this is all a part of the Kundalini energy. Y'all all right? I know this is going to sound like nothing, but when you get the tape and go back over, this is some real serious shit I'm talking about right here. See what I'm saying? So, good food and something, that's what the art is about. Good music. The good music and stuff like that, Yeah. Let me give you an example of how powerful that is. We was back in
Okay, that was another segment, and Bobby mentioned the erotic realm. Okay, the realm of sex and that's a very powerful thing. Sex magic, sex energy, all that. Bobby felt no way of whatsoever in reference to teaching that type of knowledge, of how that works. And that's a realm that a lot of teachers stayed away from back then. You're talking years ago now. You're talking about 10, maybe 15 years ago, all right? And what it is that sexual power is very powerful if used correctly. And, Bobby gave a lot of insight, over the years in reference to yoni magic, in reference to the fluids, that, emit, from the vagina, so many things that, the average teachers, stayed away from because of, again, morality. But Bobby was not afraid, to come forth, with that. And also in that segment, you mentioned the music and how music is very powerful, how it moves you and how to dance, and, how to manifest using, the power of dance and music and things like that. And, of course, the Kundalini energy, which that energy, is intensifying right now, because what it is we are going into a different quadrant, a sun cycle quadrant. We're leaving the moon cycle. And what it is that it's activating the Kundalini energy, in our spines and increasing, So this power that is in all of us, is lying dormant, but is ready to be awakened now. They call it the Hydra. They call it, it's different names. The Awakening of the Hydra, I think there's even a book, which speaks about that. And, at this time, if we all notice, it was 80 degrees here today in North Carolina. 80 degrees in November is definitely sun cycle weather, And if there was a chemtrail, it would probably be hotter than that, because that's a sunblock. But just looking at the weather alone should let us know that we are in a different cycle, all the way around. Something's happening. Something's changing. And those who are in power, definitely without question know this. They understand, what this is all about. It's that, a lot of us, we take certain things with a grain of salt, and we need to look deeper, because we're setting records every month now for record heat. October was a record. September was a record, too, since they've been keeping, track of the temperatures, as far as record heat. Last December was. We'll see what this November, December brings. But if I was to say, I would say it would be hot, just as hot or hotter than it was last year. So, anyway, any calls on the line, Siku? Brother Siku, you there?
Yeah, I'm there. Peace, family. Greetings. If you have a question or if you just want to give a comment, because we're kind of leaving this open so that we can all honor him. So if you have a comment, press 1. We'll open your line at any given time. If you're inspired, please feel. Because we're looking at the brother help usher in an era, like that. So we're trying to honor the brother during this time. So thank you.
Right,
press
indeed.
1.
So we need, indeed, we're here to honor, Bobby Hemmitt. This is not a lecture. We're here to honor this brother. And, for those who, are listening that Bobby Hemmitt did something for you, we would want to hear from you, because of the fact that, he indeed, set, a standard. He did his thing back in the days, since 92, he was building continuously. He putting in work, okay, and, putting in crazy work, continuously. And Bobby wasn't the type of guy that had a lot of money, okay. He always, spoke about how, he didn't have any money. He used to, he got money from the lectures that he did, and things like that. And he made different things available, for the people, at, very reasonable prices, different pictures and things. One time he had a scrying mirror that he had. For those who know what that is, it was a black scrying mirror that he had, and I think he sold it for like $10 a piece or something like that. Never was on the lecture circuit to really, rake it in and bring big money, but, just doing it and, just making it. And this is what he did, for years, and big respect, indeed is due, okay, to the brother for him making those strides, in the conscious community. Really, Bobby was underground. He wasn't big like a Dr. York and a Farrakhan and all that. And really, in actuality, Bobby Hemmitt was one of the pioneers of the underground movement, okay, dealing with the, back then it was video cassettes, because a lot of people, remember, there was no YouTube back then. This was pre-YouTube and all of that when Bobby was out. So a lot of people didn't know, but once the video starts circulating, it's video cassette days now. You're talking about in the early 90s. DVDs wasn't even out yet. And I remember, I would distribute, some of those. And then things started to open up a little bit, coming around 2000. More people got to know. And, it went on from there. So overall, it was a thing where Bobby, made his mark. And, I am, glad, that an honor to say that he is a brother that definitely amongst the great teachers at this time. So don't feel away, just hit that one and let us know how you feel. In the meantime, we're going to go on to the next segment. Siku?
You see what I'm saying? And it's a protection ritual. It's stuff of St. Martha, and this is the whole thing here. You see what I'm saying? That's one to get with. So I'm just giving you different ways to go into those realms. We're giving you practical application on how to access some of those things. You see, because speed, they say, and also the voodoo practitioners, speed has a lot to do when they do the dance with the cosmic snake real fast. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on. Let's see, another one. Let's see. You can do it by ecstasy and rapture by supreme artistry. So the arts, anything with the arts. The reason why I know that anybody who's a dancer, singer, artist, and you produce a work of art, and you got a certain feeling that you can't explain. And I know because I was an artist from 5 years old until a damn 30. That's all I did was draw. And I used to draw and create a certain piece of artwork, and it's a certain feeling you get by creating something that you can't explain. It's the same thing with the sports figure you get, the musician get, and it's a whole nother level you go to. You see, so the arts is good. And it's just another thing, too. We get confused about art. We think because a person draws real good, that's the only person that's artist. That's a draftsman. You can get a pencil, you can get some canvas and some paint and experiment with colors, and you don't have to know how to draw one bit. Drawing has nothing to do with painting. And some of y'all know whether you want to do some things to get to another level, get you some canvas and get you some acrylic paint, because oil takes a long time to dry for something. Get you some canvas. You can buy the canvas already stretched, and you can learn how to stretch it and get you some acrylic paints, or get you some drawing paper, and get you some good color pencil. Not the cheap stuff, the Prismacolor, Burrow Prismacolor. And you can get in there and you can start doing some artwork, and artwork does not have nothing to do with whether you can draw or not. It's how you work the canvas with what you put on it, and you don't have to be able to draw one bit. And if you ever paint a picture and finish that picture, you'll get to, there's a certain high you get from it. There's a certain high you get from it. You see what I'm saying? You don't have, that's one thing. I knew a sister, when I was in college, she was a dorm director. This sister had retired, she was in her 60s, and she started painting. And she started painting, and the more you paint, the better you get. And you can go to another level. A lot of y'all say, what's my purpose? Motherfucker, create. What's my purpose? Motherfucker, get that clock, bust that clock open, get some of them screws out of there and them little washers and put that shit on some paper or some wood or whatever and make some art. And go to another level. The reason why I know that, why you think the artists let people take millions of dollars from them and all they want to do is the art and they can't focus on the business? Because they in another dimension. You see what I'm saying? And that's one thing that all of y'all can do. Some people can't dance, some people can't sing, but you can get in there and you can start painting or get you some pencils, some paper, and some Burrow Prismacolor. You can get a 60 color pencils, and it's real smooth stuff, or some pastels, and some Crayola crayon is good. You know what you're doing. And start creating. You see what I'm saying? Then there's the other thing. You can get in there and you can start dancing. Now that's what my queen does, and can you believe this motherfucker got my fat ass dancing? So I used to be a dancer. And so she get in there and my fat ass be dancing now and shit. You see. But go to another, because one time the money slowed down, and the spirit said, get your ass up and go dance. So how is that? The kingdom is within. The flow of everything is within. Sometimes the hormones and the proteins and all the stuff is inside of you is dormant. It's someplace in another wing of the body, and you got to dance and get the cardiovascular going into circulation so that you can mix that shit up, and that brings prosperity on the outer realm.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? Sure. That brings prosperity on the outer realm. You see what I'm saying? You see. So you can do some of that type of thing. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You'd be surprised what I believe my mama, when she used to whip my ass. I said, it's not
Okay, all right. I think he was going into that creativity again there on that one. Creativity, dealing with dance, all right, because that's one thing that a lot of people don't do anymore is dance, but, we need to move so that we can move those miasms, in the body. This is what Bobby was teaching, you know what I'm saying, with that, big time, and how creativity, is key as well, to be creative, that creative power, that deep within, that's a divine gift that, it was given to us to create. And whatever you do, whether you do art, whether you are creating while working on the car, whether you're creating, whatever you're doing that's creating, creative, by all means do it. Whether you're cooking a certain thing and you want to spice this and do that, use that creativity within. That's that divine to do it. And one thing I got to say about black people, we have an extreme, amount of that creative power, within us, to create things. Because, if you look at things, the world copies us in a lot of ways, shapes, and forms, whether it's style, whether it's how we dance, whether the music that we make, whatever it is, that's that creative divine, power within us, so that's something that we should all enhance on a day-to-day level, and don't lose that. You know what I'm saying? Just keep that going. However way, shape, or form you decide to do it. Whether you do whether you do the art, to, whether you create stuff with crocheting, whether you work on a car in a body shop and create the paint and stuff like that. You can do so much with that creative power, but the key is to use, it. Don't let it just lie dormant, because it's a power that reverberates through you, as you do it. And it brings, it brings that force up, that divine force through you, to be that way. And, you mentioned also prosperity and how, I guess, the creativity, you're talking about dance and stuff like that, how it can make you, more prosperous, in different ways, not just money, but in different ways, shapes, and forms. So, these are the things that, those are the type of jewels that personally I miss from listening to a lot of Bobby's teachings, things of that nature. Pardon some the excerpts, the way they're coming out and stuff like that, but the core of this is to bring forth, some of Bobby's teaching for those who may not know, and for those who do know, because of the fact that this is a time for us to indeed, honor, this brother, while, he is still alive. So anyway, any callers on the line? If not, continue to the next segment.
I'm going to introduce you to a goddess called Hecate. Now, she's later on picked up by the Greeks, but we first find her in the Chaldean oracles in Samaria, Phoenicia. And, Phoenicians are nothing but your pre-dynastic Egyptians. And in 1999, they did a conference. That thing is pointing. Oh. Okay, yeah, whatever you. He got it. Oh, you got it. He got it. Okay. Okay. In 1999, they did a conference in Cambridge, England, at the University of Cambridge, and they put out a book called The East Face of Helicon. And what this book is saying, that all of Greek mythology is Phoenician. Where's Phoenicia? Carthage, later on Libya, all that's Phoenicia, but before Phoenicia was there, Phoenicia was also pre-dynastic Egyptian, which is northern Egypt. Because, Lower Egypt is up north, Upper Egypt is down south. Now, so we know that Greek philosophy is stolen Egyptian philosophy from the Library of Alexandria, and they made all of them take all the books and the whole thing, and made them take all this stuff and put it in one central library. They got out of the temples and they went in there and they stole it. Well, I got another take on that, because in the early 90s they had some conferences called the Alexandria conferences, and they told the truth. They said that the Egyptians took 100 years, the Egyptian priests, to translate the hieroglyphics into Greek and Latin, in Aramaic and in Hebrew, to give it to the world, because they knew that hieroglyphics was going to be a dead religion, a dead language. So all that stuff you see, what you say is Greek, was actually done by the Egyptian priests, because they could see the future and they knew what this stuff was about, to make sure the stuff didn't get lost. Not like the Moors had to go up in there for 700 years and teach them this stuff, so when we came out of slavery, we would have education. Because imagine what would happen. Look how we was treated with the damn education. What you imagine if they didn't have nothing? Also, God is called the goddess of three fates. The three fates mean there's three goddesses. There's actually four of them. These three goddesses have judgment over everything that's going on. So this one goddess embodies three goddesses. Her name is Hecate. We're going to spit them. We're going to start off by spitting the room to her. Then we're going to introduce the sacred whore. 90% of what there's more in the Bible, of the Bible hating on the whore or the harlot than it is the devil. Why is that? You see, why is that? You see, we'll show you who the sacred whore is in a few minutes. And I'm going ahead of myself, but if you know a woman is very promiscuous, you know when she was out there and she was hoeing, you know her, and now she's conscious. And now she's conscious. Is she conscious that she used to be a hoe? Run to her. She's the most sacred shit out here. And if you was able to get a hold of some of it, you got something. Now, I had that experience happen in the early 90s, and I'm going to tell you something. That's the most powerful shit on the planet. We're going to go into that now. That's why the Bible has to shut that down. We'll go into that. I'm going ahead of myself. But, going back, you got this goddess here, the goddess of three faiths. Now, she's the goddess of three faiths, but I want to show this. Then we're going to pour a libation to her, and we'll go back into this with her. This is the same goddess. She has a lion head, a cow head, and a goat head. She got a sword on. You can tell that she is not about she ain't about the bullshit. And I got a new book out. It's called, it's a new book out. You got to get it. I think it came out a couple of weeks ago. It's called, see if I can find this thing. It's called Eternally Bad. Goddesses with an attitude, with attitude. And her name is Trina Robbins. It's called Eternally Bad, Goddesses with an Attitude. So now, what this is about, this is the same goddess that appears one way that I just showed. It showed you a few minutes ago as the triple goddess that I just took off and lost that clip. Oh, here it is. As the triple goddess, this is the same goddess. Now, this is how she looks coming out of Phoenician, Chaldean, and pre-dynastic Egypt, later on into the Greek thing, Hecate. Hecate. These are two books that just came out on her. One is Hecate by Jade Saul Luna. Hecate 1, and then there's Hecate 2, Jade Saul Luna, The Awakening of the Hydra. That's the serpent. That's the Kundalini. Now let me explain what this is. Then we're gonna go into a libation. Now, this deity, amongst others, and we'll go in deep into this, is probably what you see when you see these tornadoes touch down and kill up everything. They say they've never seen anything like it. Now in West Africa, she would be Oya. You see, it's got the lion head, so in Egypt she would be Sekhmet. In India she would be Durga. What we're saying here is the badass goddess is amongst us. You see what I'm saying? And they know this stuff is happening. It's a centrifugal force of ultimate feminine energy. And we're going to get into that tonight because this has a lot to do with the third eye. Is to go deeper into releasing this aspect of this ultimate feminine energy. But we're not going to reverend into the Afrocentric glory of the beautiful mother. No, we're going to venerate the whole. the slut. And something, if you're not taken over by religion, something that secretly every woman wanted to be, because every man want to be it. Right now, if you say, man, would you like to have a lot of women? Now, they might say, well, you know, historically, they might say, well, literally, practically, that would not work. But there ain't no man up in here right now. They say if they had the opportunity, you see what I'm saying? They wouldn't want to be no Hugh Hefner. See what I'm saying? But what about if you're a woman and you didn't have the training to say that this was wrong? And somebody said, would you like to have a cadre of men? You might go, yeah. So you got to break all, what we're trying to do here is deprogram the mind for you to break all your training. Since you was a child, they told you, you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that. There's a book called Sexy Witch. Sexy Witch. Can't think of the woman's name, but write it down because you only need the thing. In the whole first chapter, they go into how men and the church shut down the women by telling them that their virtue, you see what I'm saying, is to be obedient to them and to be discreet. You see what I'm saying? Based on the virtue, that's the highest level. You see what I'm saying? And it's a whole system that's put down to put women in slavery. And it's put down to stop the most powerful and only force there is for transformation. That feminine, raw energy.
Okay. That segment was powerful in a sense because it definitely went into the power of the divine feminine in a different kind of way. Only Bobby Hemmitt could do it that way, the way he explained it. He went into the sacred whore, he went into the different female deities and how they corresponded, with each other, whether it's Sekhmet, Akate, Durga, and all of those. And Bobby was the first one to teach that. He's the first one to, not the first one to teach that, but, as far as the black conscious community, talking about 10, 15 years ago in a lot of cases, he was teaching this knowledge. And, a lot of us, we looked at it as, Hindu or we looked at it in strange kind of ways. Akate, which, I think is Greek or something like that. But it all is basically one energy, but called by different names depending on the culture. And what Bobby did, he brought that fact out that don't trip on the culture. It's the energy is what you're after, in that aspect. And, he mentioned in that segment about the sacred whore. The sacred whore, in actuality, is significant in a very profound way. When we look at it, why is that there? Why was, in the Bible, what was that about, as far as the prostitute is concerned? What was that? What was the secret in that? What was that all about? So, and just like, Bobby mentioned, that he mentioned how a lot of those women who had a lot of that energy, within them from the different men that they encountered, and so, built on stuff like that, which, is very powerful. And also Bobby gave reference to certain books. That's one thing that was very significant, I think, in his teachings, where, like in that segment, he mentioned the book, The Sexy Witch, okay, which, I'm a little bit familiar with that, and Eternally Bad, which fantastic books, which deals about the other side, or maybe the dark side, the dark goddess, kind of stuff. And because a lot of the priests now, well, back then anyway, they feared the dark goddess. They didn't fear the devil, You know, they really feared the power of the goddess. That's why they eliminated the feminine vibration away from the Bible, you know, period. And also a lot of other texts, because they understood that feminine energy, you know, didn't do them well. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it became the dark goddess. And see, this right now, at this time, we're dealing with this cycle, the sun cycle. We're dealing with the divine feminine energy of Sekhmet, or Shechem energy. Really, that's the same energy. And the Sekhmet, you know, has two forms. Has one side is very, I guess you can say, not so nice, very powerful and destructive. And then the other side, so this is a part of what he taught back then is actually what's going on right now, you know, as I mentioned earlier, as far as the solar cycle, which is the cycle of Sekhmet, if you want to, you know, label it like that. And it is, you know, a feminine, you know, vibration. The return of the divine feminine and the return of the other side, which is the dark goddess. Bobby elaborated highly, you know, on both of these aspects because they're very significant in our time. So this is indeed a time where we need to look or continue to look at the power, you know, of the divine feminine, and also embrace the divine masculine, you know, at the same time. And because now, you know, the construct of the patriarchy is being eliminated. You know, that's going down. You know, anything patriarchal, which is not divine masculine, has to leave. And this is where we are right now. So, you know, those type of terms, Bobby, you know, definitely introduced me to a lot of those. So, but anyway, still no callers want to come forth. Okay, you can go on with the next segment, Sequel.
Yeah, area code 870. You're welcome to the Ringingstone Network. Peace. 870-592.
Hi, good afternoon, Kasim.
Oh, peace, Brother Richard.
Yeah.
Richard Willard, hey. Peace. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I had to call in on that segment for sure.
Okay, all right. I remember when we did the show last time, you mentioned Akate. You know, I remember that. Akate.
Yeah.
Akate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
You know, it's no doubt.
As he was listening, as I listened to the tape and I listened to him, he mentioned about Durga as a form of Hecate. And lately here at the where I live here in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, and I teach at a place called the House of Gnosis. I've been going through this very profound book about goddesses called Awakening Shakti, and it talks about about 12 goddesses and how to connect with them. And one I just sent about a week ago was Durga. And she is the goddess she's a warrior goddess. She's like what we would think of as Wonder Woman. She's a protector. And so she's a form of segment, as well as he said, Hecate.
And so, right.
And so it's been a real powerful study to get into these dark mother goddesses. There are others like Shinamasa, Durga, Kali. Just did Kali last Sunday, and you mentioned that Bobby mentioned that there's a dual nature to them. There's a dual nature to Kali as well, and people are afraid of them. There were people who when I asked them to look at the picture of Kali, it kind of disturbed them.
And, with the tongue out and the blood and all that, right? She has the tongue out.
But she's performing a powerful service to us in terms of dissolving and eliminating, to some extent, the human ego that prevents us from being all that we can be as gods and goddesses. So I appreciate you, man, really bringing Bobby's legacy and his work back to our remembrance, because I cannot imagine where I would be now if I hadn't been listening and learning from Bobby Hemmitt. And when I was going through my transition, my transition, being a normal black evangelical pastor to where I am now as a Magus and a Gnostic teacher, I credit a lot of that to listening to Bobby Hemmitt.
Right. That's good. Richard, thanks for that, dedication, or that, giving Bobby them kind of props. I feel a similar way to you. I mean, that you do. It's a thing where I, I think I was into some other things back then, but I just passed Bobby by, and then he just caught my ear. I think it was in 2000, and I started listening to him more. And I think that he was the first one that I can remember that spoke so highly of the divine feminine. That kind of grabbed me, because that made him different than a lot of the other speakers, I think, that was out during that time. You're talking back around 2000 now, all right? And when he did that, I said, let me listen deeper to what, because I was a little familiar with it, but not highly. But then he started going into many other things, and I said, wow, okay, this brother's on point. I just let him just slip me by, and then I was hooked. I was hooked on Bobby Hemmitt. So, I'm like you, Richard. I definitely give him a lot of props for enlightening me as well, as far as many, aspects of my spirituality. So, yeah. You've got to say you can.
Bobby
it's fine.
Was that he introduced a lot of material, a lot of books. I'm looking at one now that I got because of him by Judith K. Eels, called the Encyclopedia of Spirits. And Bobby was just like a walking library. And
right, he sure was. That's right. That's a good way to put it. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I deeply appreciate his scholarship, his service. And I bought quite a few products from him too, as well, like the purple disc and the angelic stimulus package.
Right.
You remember
that, right? Yeah, I do. You remember the scrying mirror? You remember that?
And I'm gonna tell you something. That really, the purple disc and then the angelic check. That's
the angelic check. That's right.
Worked.
Okay.
And it still works for me.
Oh, really? Get out of here. Okay, because I never got that. The purple disc, I did. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's the Sri Yantra, a picture that I got from him. But I never got some of the other stuff. Yeah. So all those, those things he kind of like brought, us, up on. This was years ago. This was like back in around 2004, somewhere around there, right?
Yeah,
it was a while back.
Yeah, but I just want to call in and thank you for doing this and reminding us of how great of a teacher and person.
Right. Thanks, Richard, for calling in. Indeed,
okay.
Appreciate that. And, you keep going strong with what you're doing, man. You know what I'm saying? And, maybe we'll have you on, soon enough again, because our last show was really good. So,
okay, bro. Appreciate that,
all right, take care of yourself.
Okay.
All right, peace and love.
Yeah. And now we have a 706-202. And welcome to the Ringing Stone Network. Eric,
yeah,
706.
Greetings, Kasim.
Peace.
Man, I was enjoying the show, and it brought back a lot of memories. And
Brother Kwame, peace, man. I didn't recognize you at first. I'm sorry. Peace.
Yeah, but to do honor to those giving honor to those that while they're still here, and then hearing confirmations from the brother that just spoke on how he was guided to be into where he is now at the level of knowledge that Bobby was dropping. You know, I was introduced to him when I got here in '93 in Atlanta, and in the circle of people that I was privy to, Bobby was highly one that talked because I was working with the elder Dr. John Henry Clark and Asa and Obedelli and the scholars here. And Bobby was very instrumental in networking with them and the knowledge from the grassroots. You know, they were the halls of academia. But Bobby was like, you know, like the brother said, he was a walking library.
Right.
He gave us insight into, he was ahead of his time. He was a way short because Bobby like Belford and Jewel Pookrum, those ones that gave us the information as to what we're dealing with right now at this now moment was what he was dropping in the 90s and 2000, the early 2000s. And so what we're now privy to is tools that we can use to get through this wave of new energy. I remember when, I think he was talking about in the early part of what you were listening to it, he was talking about the music. And I remember one piece that he did in showing us these boom boxes, and all of this has been dwindled down because that way Jewel had tapped into it and saying that, you know, that's activating the melatonin and going through the ear. And
I remember that.
They began to take down the frequencies in order to not allow us to activate to our higher selves. And that's where they came out with the CDs and the, you know, the MP3s and all of this, is because it takes down the frequency of activation. You know, because there was something magical about vinyl and 8-tracks and cassettes, because you had a balance in sound that was perceived that the body could work with. And so with him having that knowledge, he dropped it on us, you know, and he allowed us to understand what they were getting ready, what they're doing now.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, because I did, you know, something on a different show in reference to tones, and I went into that, like what you were saying about the vinyl, right? Because vinyl is carbon, and it's like, so what it was is diamond tip needle was like a crystal. So what it was, that combination with the sound, permeated out like cellular matrix on a continuous level. It did something, you know what I'm saying, to us. It enhanced, you know, something in us, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, they took that away. See, right now, what we think is that this digital sound is better, but actually the analog was better. It may appear that the digital is better, but no, it's not. The analog is actually a more natural, better sound, overall. You know what I'm saying? The stereo and all that kind of stuff. And then they went to the digital, which is more destructive. It's more direct. Let's put it that way, when it penetrates you in a funny kind of unnatural way.
Right, and that's most correct, because Bobby had perceived that and seeing how this energy of what they're doing right now in getting us programmed, because this is all part of the programming that they're able to do by using these sounds and amplifying, and now even to where the brain waves are being distorted by the telephone towers, these digital, you know, frequencies, because it's out of nature is 432. What they did is taken and they took music and put it at 444, which gives a distortion and puts you, you know, you got alpha waves, beta waves, theta waves, and these waves are tuned down to where they're programmed, you know, into the children more so, and even to us, because, you know, old timers can't get down with some of the CD music that they did. This is why even when they was bootlegging, you know, coming out with hip hop, it was done on what? Cassettes.
It was done on cassettes, right. I remember that.
And even still now, in order for you to make a CD, you have to have a reel-to-reel, at least an 8-head to roll in order for it to print. To capture it, yeah. So Bobby knew this, and he was giving us insight, and it was most powerful, because coming into the age of the divine feminine, we were being prepared in how to work with the divine feminine and working the magic, because this is some of the Pascal Rudolph. What was his name? Pascal Rudolph.
Right.
Was sex magic.
Sex magic. Right.
Right. Right. And he knew this, and this was a brother back in just after slavery, and being able to come up with this. He gave us that insight and to tap into some of those folks.
Right. Yeah. And none of their knowledge, they don't want you to tap into none of that. What Pascal was a master, of some sort. We don't know much about him, but I think you can get some information. It's very hard to get though. It's not easy to
because
get.
Crowley and Madame Blavatsky, that's who they studied. The writing, what he wrote and learned by traveling. Because he was a merchant. He was on a ship and he was traveling through the East, and he had gotten with a woman that began to teach him.
Right, and Bobby taught about all of them. He taught about Crowley. He taught about Blavatsky, all of them. But the conscious community was just about this black. So therefore, when Bobby mentioned them, a lot of people didn't pay no mind because they don't look necessarily like us. You know what I'm saying? So that was the problem, with that. And he broke, he helped break those barriers with a lot of us. Some of us, the barriers are still not broken. You know what I'm saying? We still, if it ain't coming from a black person, I don't want to hear it. Some people are still like that to this day.
Right, and that's very true, and it's something that I remember once hearing and seeing him once, and he was saying, learn to take the message and not the messenger.
Right,
because
absolutely,
all of this is our knowledge, and we're going through, we just went through Halloween. Well, it's the All Hallow Tide. It's 3 days: Halloween, All Saints Day, and All Souls Day, and all three days, is the referencing of honoring ancestors. And Bobby was definitely about honoring the ancestors and the rituals, even to the where he broke down who made the different the alcohol and what you use in rituals, because you can't just use just anything to call for spirits. You got to use the right mixture of spirit in order to bring forth those spirits. You can't go and get a bottle of Gordon's gin talking about, doing a ritual. That ain't going to work. You got to get the San Paulo. You got to get the real stuff that's being made and blessed and done, almost like kosher
wine and stuff like that. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
But we had to learn that and how to do the ceremonies and the rituals and what herbs you use to do the bath. Black walnut, bathing to cleanse and remove spirit.
Right, how to bathe, right. And one of the basic baths, purifying baths, I got from Bobby Hemmitt. Three cups of bleach and what's the apple cider vinegar. Those two, and a few other things, you can add and subtract, but that's some of the basics of doing your ritual bath,
Right.
And, I remember going into that.
And these are old things that our grandmother, and he referenced one of the first vegetarians of our time that came out of Chicago, Alvina Fulton. And she was the one that taught Dick Gregory and Jewel Fuqua, and Delbert. She had the first black herbal shop in Chicago right there on 63rd Street. And Alvina had like one of the first black vegetarian restaurants.
Right.
And she was always talking about fasting. Fasting was her. This is what she lived by, and saying anything that you get learned, all you got to do is fast. Fast and drink water and clean the body out, and put in the herbs after you've done the fast and cleansing. Your body will repair itself. Dick Gregory went from almost 300 pounds down to 100 and something. So Bobby, Coakley, all of them brothers was the grassroots and
the grassroots. The real, old school hardcore scholars. And I
still got a reel to reel. I got a reel and a German diamond tip turntable.
Yep, the diamond tip. That's it. And sometimes the old school things, or the way work. I mean, it's still fundamental to read books. A lot of us don't do that anymore, but read, okay? Because you need a whole lot of more information in reading of a book than from a couple of YouTube, okay?
Yeah.
And that's how a lot of people are learning now, are like YouTube scholars you got out here now.
Right.
Never pick up any. They ain't got no library at their house, but they don't see every YouTube out there.
And that's a very important part too. And the thing that happens with reading is the book Alphabet versus the Goddess, because this is how they took the goddess out and put the patriarchal in by left brain, right brain when they created the printing press. And they began to write and do this. And that you began to look how in reading we read from left to right. And the thing is that in a woman's mindset, in her right brain, she can, speed read and looking at it. But it's the part of that we've become visual and we've got to see it like YouTube, watching a video, and then listening to somebody doing it instead of, having it scroll. Like now when I watch my flat screen, I make sure that the closed caption is on because I want to read as it's going, because that way if I want to catch something that they're saying, I can hear it, but then see it too.
Yeah, okay, I got it. So that's like right brain and left brain right there with the closed caption.
There you go. Right.
Okay,
the closed caption is because when you do it, that plus it picks up your perception. You're able to read at a certain speed, and you dual mindedness. You're using the whole brain because left brain and right brain are working. And then when you're doing that, and then the other thing that happens with it, you can catch something and stop, pause it, and write down the message or information that's that's hidden in the movie.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. So, Brother Kwame, what do you see? Okay, in reference to this election coming up, let's go into that real briefly. What do you see?
It's you talked about the whore and the prostitute, but you didn't say nothing about the harlot, because the harlot is getting ready to, and you talked about, I think Bobby talked about the dragon. He said something in part of dealing with the dragon, because the whore of Babylon is getting ready to get on her dragon, which is the seven governments, and she's getting ready to take her position in that house there they call D.C., the corporate headquarters, because she's already her dragon that she's getting on is China.
She's tight with the Chinese, right? Go ahead.
Because she opened the trade door up when she was Secretary of State. That's why she got into all of those 7 governments. She got in good with them because she knew she was being able to see. Because in '98, when her and Bill went over there to Africa and was in Ghana, and they got with President Rawlins and his wife, and they were standing there saying that they're going to, have this big campaign in 2020. They said that in '98. that they were going to be in Ghana in 2020.
Right.
That's they already had it planned for her to do what they're doing now, because China is investing now. If you look at China right now, what they're doing with China is coming in from the eastern side of Africa, Zanzibar, all up the eastern coast of Africa, when the British came in from what? The west coast of Africa. And,
hey, brothers, we getting off point. Let's stay back on point.
Yeah. We're going to finish this up.
Way off point now. Way off.
Well, we're going to get back to Bobby. You know what I'm saying? No doubt about that at all. You know,
but it's what Bobby taught us, man, is understanding how to do the rituals. Because if we understand what Bobby gave us as far as doing ceremonies and doing and understanding the sacred geometry, we can combat this, because this is what he was preparing us for. Is this what we're getting ready to deal with right now coming up? And so what we have to do is go back and listen to those. That's why he left so much information, and that we've got to go back and listen to those ceremonies and those rituals in which to do and how to prepare to do what we're dealing with the spiritual warfare. The brother's right, and I apologize, Sekou, is that we got to stay focused on that. But that's the information of what is getting ready to happen with this whole thing and it's coming forward. Because it's already been prophesied as to what is getting ready to happen, but we have been prepared in being able to have a master teacher to teach us our ancestral ways. And it's really powerful you doing this show on the second day after the new moon, because we're still in the energy of this sacred time that we can utilize and plant seeds by putting these words to the universe.
I feel you. Thanks a lot for your input, Kwame. You know what I'm saying? No doubt. And, it's a thing where is that, I was feeling you. Anyway, all right, any more callers?
Not right now, but I got something for you and Kwame. And Brother Kwame, I would like to say, I wasn't trying to disrespect you. I just want to say, celebrating him, because we are in that energy. It's November 1st, but if you're not on the Ringing Stone Network, that's your fault, because you always have had a home here. So if you want to come and build on that, just get with Kasim, and then we can do a show on that. Because I've been trying to do some on martial law anyway, so if you want to take off from that and go in that direction, you and Kasim, please do come,
Oh, yeah, well, I've always shared with Kasim and sharing information and told him anytime, that you feel that this is something that you want to bring to the people, I'm more than welcome to come and give information that I've researched and found and can direct as to what is being put into the men, because right now I'm dealing with a lot of stuff that's going on in Standing Rock, and trying to figure out, do I want to go ahead and go up there in a few weeks and stand on the front line with my brothers up there?
Yeah, significant, indeed. Anyway, Sekou, do you want to mention something in reference to Bobby and what we should be doing or anything like that?
We got rituals for damn near anything you want to do, and we can give them to you tonight. Well, they say their tradition has them as a male, but when you deal with those things, they're androgynous, so it's a composite. You see what I'm saying? Arceti, you see what I'm saying? Sounds like also a little offset, but you got set in there, but it's a composite. It's androgynous type energies and stuff. Like they say in Dogon, they say armor. They call it a male, but if you go back far enough, armor could also be female. You see what I'm saying? Y'all all right? Hold on, I'll turn that around for y'all. All right? Okay, let's do this. All right, Lakshmi. Ashe, Lakshmi. Ashe, Sri Lakshmi. Ashe. Vishnu. Ashe, that's her honey. That's her boy. That's her honey she hang out with. Vishnu is, that's who she bumping and grinding with. You see what I'm saying? You want to make sure she get a little honey there, too. Ishtar, Monu,
Noku, Inmatu, Titi, Jova. Oh yeah, you got it going on. You can turn up the volume on that if you want to. Oticha, Chiacha, Cheola, Shumala, Omagumu, Alcala, Locayo, Kakumbo, Lalila, Oalensu, Babylonia, Babylon, Aya, Ayo, Elmelech, Drakon, Notorio, Exanthes, Kasimbo, Nisabat Isala, Alfio Lukea, Hazuzu, Lucifer, Anubares. These are the ones that came back. Ooh. Monu, Netzu, Litu, Ilhalo, Trayanka, Putianka. I like them boys. You know, Labado, Luigi, Atima, Odawado, Hoa, Ogawadi, Leowa, Godugo, Biwasta, Amatis, Awudagay, Luigi, yeah, okay. Lakshmi, no, Lokai, Ilok. Now, these are three that came on the day after the election. These are three Native American ancient spirits, probably go back to Olmec. And they came, and their one worships, one is air, fire, water, earth, and ether. So it's five of them that worship that deal with the elements. So I'll tell you what that is in a few minutes. Yakaifa, Bozan, Yafez, Fleeman, Zimrig, Kuparini, Bilfra, Chambala. Okay, hold on 1 minute. Okay, let's go right on. Hold on 1 minute. Brigida, Tegum, Keku, Haniel, Tarak, Dagan, Hanai, Arim, Oduma, Josarus, Artemis. Okay, I want to just get these new ones out here. Hold on 1 minute. See if we got them here. Okay. See, do we have them all here? Some of these new ones. And now we get ready to go to the general one. This is coming from South America. These are Native American spirits of Native American goddesses. Mama Shula, Mama Pasha, Teeska, Coco Mama. So they got a god for cocoa. That's right. The cacao. They showed you in the movie Chocolate. Everybody saw the movie Chocolate? Who did they have pushing in them supplies when she was restocking? 2 black men. That's our shit. Leola. This is Central America. Leola. Talasios. Axiel. I want some loud ashes. Kosiku. Chantio. Genowita. Asama. Maka. Asanadigi. Shuganazek. Shiva. Rudra. Pravati. Sati. Kali. Sheena Master. Durga. Agni. Kundalini. Lolita. What's that? All right. Ajay. Sabbath. Sabbath. Do you know that Sabbath is a Hebrew goddess? But they don't tell you about the book you need to buy from Wayne State University called Hebrew Goddess. Write it down, sister. Hebrew Goddess. Raphael Patti, P-A-T-I. Hebrew Goddess. And looking at a god, Sabbath is a woman. You see what I'm saying? And Sabbath. Y'all all right? Okay. Nakumpa, Umbelenga, Unkulukulu, Kangu, Yama, Labu, Laamu, Hayamat, Mayat, Aset, Osa, Heru, Neptert, Heru, Sekmet, Mayat, Kim, Menovis, Amit, Enukian spirit, 4 sons of Horus, Hemmitt, Camophis, Kimu, Nekobet, Uwajet, Ewa, Obas, Ivas, Melektas, Lamb, Melchizedek, Sutek, Metatron, Metronet, Krishna, Radha, Balarama, Pravati, Sati, Uma, Sheena Master, Jalahandra, Ganesha, Dionysus, Bacchus, Sami, Cupid, Eros, Diana, Artemis, Athena, Apollo, Perseus, Hercules, Jason, Medea, Demeter, Persephone, Pegasus, Kori, Hanuman, Bim, Minu, Kansu, Akapta Kansu, Mintu Sivara, Mintel Sancting, Ramanatu, Kim, Sahu, Sebek, Sobek, Sabdu, Chakaris, Newt, Hadit, Rahar Kiwit, Rahar Markakiti, Hamaku, Raheru Kahudi, Heru Sept, Jesse, Sutnubit, Setes, Effet, Tired, Apep, Apophis, Jalahundra, Derda, Netters, Nephilim, Kali, Kalima, Aset, Osar Titi, Osar Seker, Leviathan, Latayathan, Kangu, Wamu, Tayamat, Bear, Butchers, Dadoon, Astarte, Venus, Minerva, Aphrodite, Andana, Araskagu, Echidna, Nemean Lion, Sphinx, Eye of Heru, Scarab, Ab-Earth, Abraxas, Mithra, Shakti, Upper Shekinah, Lower Shekinah, New Isis, Yanesi, Ranesi, Patanesa Unra, Olokun, Yeminya, Papagede, Kuthumi, Sanat Kumara, Theobis, Keos, let's see, I got a bunch of Psyche, Malku, Bina, Erzuli, gotta put her in there. Guede, Papagede, Dambalawedo, Adawedo, Simbi, Bridget, Kundalini, Hermanubis, Athene, Metronet, Sophia, Sophis, Anarchus, Satis, Hecate, Heket, Reket, Demeter, Ashura, Anna, El, Mim, Bacchus, Thane, Cupid, Eros, Harpocrates, Baby Krishna, Baby Buddha, Mamu, Nagon, Metatron, Agos Daemon, Yaga, Mim, El, Tanit, Aradni, Malita, Much, Simbi, Congo, Petro Rada, Miss Charlotte, boats, Mayatek boat, Setek boat, Set boat, Heru boat, Seka boat, Hinu boat, Nephthert boat, a Turkey boat, Hin boat, Ab boat, Himbu boat, Ra boat, Amara boat, Osar boat, Aset boat, Antu boat, Azazel, Samaza, Fatah, Camelfist, Canoe, Nile, Lamayin, Lamat, Bel, Bass, Beb, Beelzebub, Sutan, Shaitan, Shutnesit, Shutnubit, Apit, Tired, Apep, Sat, Samaza, Samuel, Atan, Atim, Hamakidi, Ain Soda Uda, Vertra, Dana, Jalahandra, Carabas, Hydra, Thunderdog, Sunbear, White Buffalo, Geronimo, Sitting Bull. We want to put them there. Sitting Bull did his job, killing yellow hair. Gaia, Adonis Baal, and we're going to Much, Newt, Medusa, Hermaphrodites, to all gods known and unknown, Anpu, Anubis, Tahudith, Sashet, Cerberus, Carabas, and we'll call some more out. Goetia, Calippus, Nibiru, Nebheru, Asuras, Tunnels of Sex, Bim, Minivis, Mentu, and we're going to go with that. Ashe. Hemmitt family, Shaw family, Davis family, 1, 2, 3, start calling out your family members. Even the ones that you was fucked up. Ashe. That means they were the most powerful souls. Ashe. To all gods known and unknown, Ashe. To all ancestors known and unknown, Ashe.
Peace, family. There you go, brother. Kasim, you don't have any more callers.
That was powerful right there. You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah,
that.
And I love you, Sister Charlotte. Because she called me. It's like, you better start with libations, and I'm like, it's not my show. But anyway, she went on and I love you, Charlotte. Right. She's there. Hopefully, she's somewhere around. But in terms of my experience, I have to say that. He was a very, very giving brother. I was truly proud that when they attacked him, and unfortunately Kirk gave him the stroke, that the family in some way gave a lot in terms of money, to Bobby. And I was proud of that.
Yes.
So that, maybe we hadn't moved to the point that we were taking care of people. I'm not as proud as what I did in terms of my interaction with Dr. Ben, but I was kind of proud that we were looking forward to, like, when Bobby went down, there was money given. You know what I mean?
Right.
And at some point, money was always would have been given. It's just that no one could hear from Bobby, and that's when folks stopped giving money when they couldn't get a report. You know, like that. And whether that's good or bad, I'm not going to say, but it probably would have been good if we could have known how he do, and or if we know how he is now. But in terms of when you look at, he was kind of proof to me that sometimes the more you put out, the more you give back. Because Bobby gave those long lectures, and he put out a lot. And then when he went down, you know, he at least got, you know, I won't say what type of money he got, but he did get, you know, fairly good money, like a year's salary or something like that. That, you know, they helped out, and there was no argument. When the word got out, they got to go fund me. A couple of addresses was giving money. And, you know, and I was proud of us as the people that he helped usher, move us into a consciousness. But as he grew us, we started automatically, like, giving back to somebody that gave so much. I mean, I was in Nashville, and I called, and I spoke with Linda. She put Bobby on the phone, and he was trying to help me connect with a deity that was there in Nashville. You know, the brother didn't come out like some people, you know, where it was money first. You know what I mean? He came and gave me what I did. He said, go here, look at this, build your altar. And me as a producer of a network, I can really hear now when it's about, oh, well, he's about money or she's about money to get something done. And you look at, and I look at the people that are producing around the community, and it is the people that are really kind of making the most money, if they're not truly crooked, is the people that are kind of giving more from their heart because of their love for their profession. And then they're getting things back, opposed to, I see that, you know, this brother gave. I mean, everything y'all said prior to me playing that, he did that all in his libations. You know, he stopped and told the Bush sister, write down the book. You know, Bobby cracked some jokes. You know, he's hitting it's like, well, there was lover, and they probably hump and put some honey on her. You see what I mean? And those type of things he was just so real for. But I do appreciate him helping me because he did help me make that communication and that connection I needed to grow. And you know, and I can say this, you know, I had a reading said I'll be working with young people, is that what he taught 20, 30 years ago is transitioning into our youth. You know, he's going beyond like 2, 3, 4 generations under me that, you know, this youth is listening to this brother and they're learning how to accept our deities. And, you know, just listen to his libations, start getting my room cold just from him going, you know, he called so many people, I didn't even know who he called. But the whole point was that, you know, he was a lover of spirit world, you know, and he gave a lot of honor to him. And the thing about it was, he wasn't just like a preacher that was up there preaching. You know, this brother actually studied. So all the deities he named, he knew something about them. You know, and it's just a coincidence how things work out because this is November 1st. Like, you know. And so then he basically called all the men that we played on the network tonight for November 1st for All Saints Day and for tomorrow and Halloween. So I appreciate it. I love you, Bobby. And, you know, to me, family, you know, there's when you go back to part of them taking us down as Moors in America, they always took down, they would sneak out and some would fight the warriors, but they sent people around the back and they would go into our villages, but they always tried to kill and take out the magic man. And when you look at Bobby and what he taught, even if he told us, don't be afraid to call these ancestors and go beyond the ancestors that the white man gave you. And he taught all this. And so when we started moving into new energy, the spirit grabbed him and said, you're going to be the teacher like John the Baptist. And it's like, lo, there's some new energy coming. But also, when we're at the door to start that new energy, then they're attacking. So my request to you is like, if you're conscious and you're doing ritual, put out energy for the brother. Put a protection energy around him. For those of you that know how to put a protection bubble around him, do that. For those of you that know how to protect a person's mind, do that. For those of you that know how to do your gift so you can protect a person's mouth, do that for this brother because, you know, he wasn't the only one at that time that had gotten taken down. You know what I mean? And as we continue to move into this new energy, which directly relates to us and our children being free as this world turns, then we got to look at some of these brothers and look at what Bobby brought in and his awakening of certain energy, and have, like he mentioned in that there were some deities that came up that were spiritual warriors, and those were the deities that he introduced me to when I was in Nashville, and he called them the Thunderdog. And he mentioned it in that ritual. These ones are new ones, but they fought. You see what I'm saying? So this brother was in connection with a lot of stuff. So let's protect him. I'm running my mouth. I'm sorry, Brother Kasim. And you don't have any more callers. I'm good.
Okay, well, we're going to get ready to close out the show, in a couple of minutes. Just some of my final words, in reference to Bobby. I second, the notions on what you was, Brother Sekou was talking about as far as us putting out, energy, for Brother Bobby's safety, for his, and we can't give enough thanks, for knowledge, because knowledge is riches, okay? We talk about money a lot, but, Bobby was rich in that. He was rich in the knowledge, okay? And this is what, he gave, and that's why I agreed to do the show, because I felt that, this brother needed, to be honored. We were supposed to do the show a while back, but we just got to it. But still, it's a perfect time. We had a little technical difficulties again, excuse that to family, but, this is the way it goes sometimes. But, all in all, we definitely honored Bobby tonight, brothers such as the brother Kwame and the brother Richard Bullard, who definitely are very knowledgeable brothers, who called in and they gave their ultimate, props for Bobby, and how, they were part of, his grooming, I guess you could say, products of that. And me as well, I have a few teachers who have taught me, in my lifetime, and Bobby is no doubt one of them. Maybe not directly, but indirectly, just by having my own information network back in the days, and just by listening. I own right now in the archives maybe like around 50 to 60 Bobby Hemmitt lectures, that, still, I'll pop one in every now and then. But if anybody out there listening wants to really hear some of Bobby, they can go, and there's a sister named Sister Delbra, okay, who she had Bobby Hemmitt's archives back, in the 90s, in the late 90s. And she has the Serious Times, I think, is her a YouTube channel. Serious Communication, Serious Times, something like that. It was Serious. And when you see that pop up under one of Bobby Hemmitt's videos, you will know that you want to go on her page, and she has almost a complete archives of Bobby Hemmitt, because she was the one who really brought him out there big time, through DVD and video, back in the days. I met her personally, and she told me the story of them and their relationship. But anyway, if there, I don't know if there's any more callers on the line. If they're not, okay, I want to thank those, who, listen, throughout the show. And hopefully, we take what we learned from Bobby and build on it. Not just, I guess you can say, listen, but do the work as well, because Bobby was about doing the work, doing the spiritual technologies, necessary to enhance, that divine within yourself. And, he did a really good job of bringing a lot of that metaphysical science out, to the masses. And with that, I just want to say peace and love, to the family. And hopefully, all is well with everyone and honoring your ancestors, because now is that time for us to do so. We still have time to do it. Set your candles up, your altar, and honor them because they are part of you. You are your ancestors. And on this ancestor honoring time, definitely remember them in peace and love. And my name is Kasim. Peace.